Also bring in Ambassador Baswati Mukherjee at this point. Ambassador Mukherjee, clearly, of course, this is what Pakistan has been resorting to, not just this year, but reportedly 6 months before the Trump presidency began. They got a hint that he was coming to power, and they decided to begin spending thousands and thousands of dollars. In fact, the amount runs into millions, actually. What do you make of this explosive report?
Well, first of all, Uday, let me clarify that hiring of lobbying firms is nothing new. India has done it in Washington for decades. We haven't used drug money, of course. We've used very respectable lobbying firms, and this is normal practice in Washington among many countries. The difference in this particular case is that you have a transactional US president who can be maneuvered one way or the other, depending on where his family's business interests lie. So I think, respectfully, I would submit that it is not the success of the lobbying firms alone which Pakistan spent its drug money on, but the fact that the Bitcoin and the lure that it held out for Trump's close family members played a very important role in Trump's sudden and puzzling switch over to the Pakistani side. On the other hand, it is also important to remember that in the hostilities between India and Pakistan, which Trump takes credit for, although he knows very well that it was the Pakistani DGMO who asked us for a ceasefire, that those hostilities on the Pakistan side were actually a joint China-Pakistan front against India, which China utilized to test its weapons against India. That then brings us to the fundamental question as to where does President Trump wish to be in this strategic triangle? Does he wish to side with Pakistan, knowing that the western border of India is now a double front between Pakistan and China on one hand against us. On the other hand, we have the open Bangladeshi border. We have an extremely dangerous situation in Myanmar, not to speak of the very long Sino-Indian border. I would say, and I'm sure Major General Sawaj would agree with me, that never for a very long time has India faced so many challenges on its border as we are facing now. But coming to, therefore, whether Pakistan is a frontline state of United States or of China, I would say Pakistan is a frontline state of China. And therefore, at some point, the Americans, whether it is Trump that we have to endure like an aching tooth until the midterms when he becomes a lame duck, or any other US president, at some point the Americans will have to understand and decide that if Pakistan is a frontline state for China, then it cannot be a frontline state for United States, because that would be completely illogical. Therefore, I do think that at some point of time, lobbying firms or no lobbying firms, the Americans will have to decide who to dump. And in that particular case, they would have to dump Pakistan.